She just wanted to help an innocent little girl, but she didn't know her fake marriage would turn into something too real to walk away from. And he only wanted a pretend wife for one event, but what she did next left him speechless. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Kindness Stories for more real, raw, and emotional tales that warm your heart. The room was filled with tiny chairs, balloons, and a mess of glitter glue. 7-year-old Maddie was beaming, her cheeks red from excitement, her birthday party in full swing. But there was one thing that had her little heart troubled. Every one of her friends had their mom and dad together at the party, except her. She had her dad, Ethan Carter, a 36-year-old hard-working single father who had done everything to raise her alone after her mother walked out when Maddie was just a baby. But no matter how much love he poured into her life, he couldn't give her the one thing she craved that day. A mother's presence. The night before her birthday, Maddie had whispered something that broke Ethan's heart. "Daddy, can I have a mommy for just one day? Just for my party, please?" Ethan stayed up all night, thinking. He worked as a construction project manager in a small town outside Denver, Colorado. He wasn't rich, he wasn't suave, but he was a good man. And he'd do anything to see his daughter smile. Desperate, he posted a message in a local Facebook group, "Need a female companion to pretend to be my wife for a few hours at a child's birthday party. No weird strings attached. Just someone kind. Paid, of course." He expected mockery or silence. Instead, he received a private message from a woman named Claire Bennett. Claire, 29, was a struggling waitress and part-time artist who had just lost her job at a local diner. She didn't know what made her say yes. Maybe it was the innocent way Ethan had worded the request. Maybe it was the part about someone kind. But something told her to show up. So the next afternoon, Claire arrived wearing a simple summer dress and a nervous smile. When Maddie saw her, her face lit up with a joy Ethan hadn't seen in years. Claire bent down, smiled, and said, "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Mommy's best friend. I came just for you." It wasn't part of the script, but it felt right. Maddie believed her. Throughout the party, Claire played her role flawlessly, handing out cupcakes, fixing tiaras, even dancing with Maddie during the musical chairs game. Ethan kept watching her, puzzled and mesmerized. She wasn't acting. She genuinely cared. Later that evening, after all the kids were picked up and the backyard was quiet again, Ethan offered Claire her money, but she shook her head. "That little girl, she's special. I didn't do it for the money." It was supposed to end there. But Maddie, now completely attached, begged her new mommy to visit again. And Claire, again, against all logic, said yes. Days turned into weeks. Ethan would find excuses to invite Claire over, at first, for Maddie's sake, then slowly, for his own. They started cooking together, talking late into the night, sharing pieces of their past. Claire had never known stability, Ethan had never known gentleness. Together, they filled each other's gaps like puzzle pieces. But not everything was rosy. One morning, Claire was walking Maddie to school when one of the real mothers whispered to another, "She's not even his wife. Did you know that? I heard she used to work at a bar." The gossip traveled like wildfire. Parents started distancing their kids from Maddie. Ethan, furious, confronted Claire. "Why didn't you tell me people would treat you like this?" he snapped. Claire's voice trembled. "I've been treated like trash most of my life, Ethan. This isn't new. But Maddie, she deserves better. Maybe I shouldn't come around anymore." Ethan paused, looking at the woman who had stepped in to heal something broken inside both him and his daughter. "Maybe people are right," he whispered. "But you're the best thing that's happened to us in years. And I don't care what anyone else says." But Claire had already walked away. And for 3 weeks, she didn't return. Maddie cried every night. Ethan tried to move on. But nothing felt right anymore. Until the day of the school's family talent show. Each child had to bring their mom or dad to participate. Maddie signed up with shaky handwriting and just 2 words, "My mommy." The school auditorium buzzed with excitement. Kids dressed up as magicians, dancers, singers, and even little poets waited with their parents for their turn. Maddie sat quietly in the corner, her sparkly blue dress wrinkled and her smile missing. "Where's your mommy, Maddie?" one girl asked with a snicker. She'll be here," Maddie replied, blinking fast to hide her tears. Backstage, Ethan paced nervously. He'd called Claire 3 times that week, no response. He didn't blame her for disappearing. The world had been cruel to her. Maybe she thought he would be too. 10 minutes before their performance, he took Maddie's hand and gently said, "Baby, we might have to go solo today." She nodded, lips trembling. But just as they were about to leave the auditorium, a voice called out from the door. "I hope I'm not too late." Everyone turned. Claire stood there, wearing jeans, a soft cream sweater, and her hair tied back. No makeup. No performance. Just her. Maddie ran into her arms. Ethan stared, his heart thudding in his chest. "I couldn't let her down," Claire whispered, looking at him. "Even if I'm not her real mom. I'm something, aren't I?" "You're everything," Ethan replied without thinking. Their performance wasn't perfect. Claire couldn't sing, and Ethan forgot some words. But they stood on that stage as a family. And that's what everyone saw. Afterward, the principal approached Claire. "You know, we've never had a mother who wasn't a biological one step up like that. You made quite an impression." Claire smiled softly. "I wasn't pretending. Not anymore." That night, Ethan didn't let her walk away. On their porch under the stars, he took her hand and said, "I asked for a fake wife once. But now I want something real. Not just for Maddie, but for me too." Claire looked at him, tears forming. "I've never belonged anywhere." "You do now," he whispered, pulling her into his arms. They didn't get married in a chapel with flowers or fanfare. It was a small civil ceremony with Maddie holding both their hands. But to the little girl, it was the biggest fairy tale of all. Because sometimes, families aren't made by blood. They're made by heart. And what started as an act became a love story no one saw coming. If this story touched your heart, please take a second to like the video and subscribe to Kindness Stories. Your support helps us keep telling beautiful tales like this one, because love isn't always perfect, but it's always worth it.